of accused person. It is coming under Article 20, fundamental right of accused person. Let's start the topic. Okay. Article 20 of fundamental right explains India is a welfare state, so no one hand it is responsible for the maintenance of law and order, and on the other hand it is accountable for the just treatment even of accused person. So you cannot do any arbitrary action to any person. It may be accused person also who will treat properly to that person. You should not treat any accused person also arbitrary. By convicting person, state cannot raise any arbitrary whip on the accused person. So accused person should not be beaten arbitrarily by the jailer or by the police who has kept in jail, okay, who is kept in the custody and any accused person. So he will be treated as respectfully in the maintenance of law and order. Okay, so in the maintenance of law and order for the welfare of state, it is a responsible of our public to give proper respect to an accused person also. That accused person should not be arbitrarily whipped or arbitrarily beaten or anything disrespect to the accused person. Okay. Now Article 20 provides that 3 clauses. First clause, Article 20. No person shall be convicted of any offence except for violation of law enforced at the time of the commission of the act charged as an offence, nor be subject to a penalty greater than that which might have been inflicted under the law enforced at the time of the commission of the offence. No person shall be convicted of any offence except for violation of the law enforced at the time of the commission of the act charged as an offence. Okay, so the conviction should not be violated of any law. If a person is according to the law only, that person should be punished, not more than that. That person should not be punished more than, if that is a penalty for 3-year jail, that will be 3-year jail, not more 7-year jails. Okay, so this is written here only. Not be subject to a penalty greater than that which might have been inflicted under the law enforced at the time of the commission of the offence. If when he is doing the commission at that time, what is the rule, what is the punishment process, what is the penalty, that will be given, not more than that which is not mentioned on that time period. Okay, this is the clause 1 of Article 20. Now clause 2. No person shall be prosecuted or punished for the same offence more than once. For that person must be prosecuted or punished once only, not more than that. Once only, that person for one offence, one time only prosecuted and punished. If he is doing another offence, that time he will get more offence. Not in the same offence, he will not be prosecuted or punished repeatedly. Only once he will be get prosecuted, punished. The clause 3, it is no person accused of an offence shall be compelled to be a witness against himself. Suppose a person, accused person, we should not compel, we should not force that accused that he will be a witness against himself. He will not be the witness against himself. What is in his knowledge only he will explain to the court, not more. You cannot compel him that you are only the witness for yourself. Okay. So this is arbitrary action. This is against the Article 20 fundamental right. So clause 1, it is guarantees right against ex post facto law. It guarantees right against ex post facto law. In clause 2, it provides against double jeopardy. In clause 3, it is provides against self-incrimination. So what is ex post facto law? A law is enacted to have retrospective operation on act which were done prior to the enactment of law. Retrospective criminal law is prohibited. Retrospective criminal law is prohibited here. Ex post facto law means the retrospective operation or retrospective of criminal law is prohibited. That will not be allowed. That will be prohibited. Suppose there is a one rule here that this punishment, this person will get this punishment for this offence. After some year, if that will be changed, that the punishment for the offence will be changed, so we will not give that punishment or that offence to this person. This year this person has committed the offence, he will get the punishment whatever mentioned in the law this year only. If after some year that law will be changed, the punishment will be changed, that punishment will not be allowed to the accused person. So this is ex post facto law. Soni Debras, and one case law is here. Soni Debras by Babu Pai versus State of Gujarat 1991, Supreme Court 298. Section 304B of the IPC was inserted in the code on 1986, creating a distinct offence of dowry debt. This section also provided the minimum sentence of 7 years. Here the minimum sentence is 7 years for the dowry death. It is held by the Apex Court that imprisonment does not apply to such death caused before the insertion of the section. So whatever be the sentence, that will be given, not more than that, because retrospective criminal law is prohibited. Okay, ex post facto law, which is against the ex post facto law. Now second one is prohibition against double jeopardy. Means no person shall be prosecuted or punished for the same offence more than once. Same offence, a person will not get twice punishment, only once prosecuted or punished. This prohibition is based on the common maxim nemo debet bis vixar. A man shall not be brought into danger for one and the same offence more than once. If there is a one offence, that person cannot be repeatedly brought into danger. Okay, this principle is given in section 26 of General Clause Act 1897 and section 300 of CRPC. Now application of article 22, following conditions must be satisfied. So clause 2, there will be some conditions for satisfied. There must be a person accused of an offence. The person must be an accused of an offence. The offence means there must be an act or omission made punishable by any law for the timing or force. So what is the meaning of offence? Made punishable. It must be an act which is an omission made punishable by law at the time being in force. There must have been a prosecution as well as punishment must be inflicted on the accused person. If a person is doing any offence, that person must be prosecuted and punished once only, not repeated. The prosecution or punishment must have been before the court of law or judicial tribunal. It must be before the court of law or judicial tribunal. So the proceeding before the revenue authorities, sea custom authorities or the tribunal conducting departmental administrative inquiries are not covered under this act. Okay, only before the court of law or judicial tribunal. The sea custom authority, tribunal conducting departmental or administrative inquiries, that are not covered under this act. Only court of law and judicial tribunals. The prosecution or punishment must have been before the court of law or judicial tribunal. That will be only covered. Here one case is Maqbul Hussain versus State of Bombay. Another case is Bayasnath Prasad versus State of Bhopal. In this case, the conviction of accused person was quashed on the ground that before initiating prosecution against the accused person, sanction of the appropriate authority was not obtained. Retrial of the accused person was started after having the sanction. Okay. Now it is essential that second prosecution punishment must be before the same offence if the offence charged differently. Suppose we are doing any next prosecution or punishment, second prosecution or punishment, then that will be the offence must be different, not for the same offence. Okay, if that person or accused is doing another offence, then that will be the second prosecution or punishment. Now third one is right against self-incrimination. Clause 3, Article 20 provides that no person accused of an offence shall be compelled, shall be forced to be a witness against himself. We cannot force any accused person that he will be only the witness for against himself. So the person cannot be forced to give oral or written statement in or out of the court against himself if that person is an accused of an offence. So we cannot force, the police or court cannot force to a accused person to give oral statement or written statement against himself that he is the eyewitness against himself only. So the case is Nandini Satpath versus P.L. Dani 1978 to Supreme Court 424, and one more case, State of Bombay versus Kathi Kalu AIR 1961, Supreme Court 188. In this case, the accused were directed to give finger and palm impression. He was directed and forced to give the finger and palm impression and to give specimen writing or signature. So everything he was forced, palm impression, finger impression, specimen writing, signature, everything he was forced to give against himself only. It was held by the Apex Court that self-incrimination must mean conveying information based on the personal knowledge of the person giving the information, but giving of impression of palm, thumb, foot or specimen writing or signature does not include the expression to be a witness in Article 20 Clause 3. So, conveying incrimination means, self-incrimination means, the Apex Court said it must be conveying information based on the personal knowledge. If the accused person have any personal knowledge about that offence, he will give that information. But giving the impression of palm, thumb, foot or specimen writing or signature, that is not included. These expressions are not included to be a witness. Only the personal knowledge of an offence only he will give information. So that is the self-incrimination, which is against right of self-incrimination. It is coming under Clause 3, Article 20. Now it is over. If you really like my video, please share it, subscribe it and do comment and like it.